Hey from OK People team. In this video I will briefly explain how to structure your dissertation. A dissertation or thesis is a lengthy piece of academic writing based on original research that is submitted as part of your university degree. A dissertation structure depends on your topic and it is usually divided into 4 or 5 chapters or sections. The first chapter is the introduction. In this chapter you should set up your topic, aim, and significance of your dissertation. It is usually explaining to the reader what to expect from the rest of the dissertation. The introduction should include the following information. Establish your topic by providing the required background information to place your work in context. Define the scope of the investigation and narrow down the topic. Discuss the state of existing research on the topic, demonstrating how your work relates to a larger issue or debate. Clearly define your goals and research questions, as well as how you plan to answer them. Give an overview of your dissertation structure. Everything in the introduction should be easy to understand, interesting, and relevant to your research. The reader should be able to understand what, why, and how of your research by the end. The second chapter is the literature review. Before you begin your research, you should conduct a literature review to gain a thorough understanding of the existing academic work on your topic. You should not simply summarize existing studies in the dissertation literature review chapter or section, but rather develop a coherent structure and argument that leads to a clear basis or justification for your own research. The literature review aims to address a gap in the literature, takes a new theoretical or methodological approach to the topic, propose a solution to an unresolved problem, advance a theoretical debate, builds on and strengthens existing knowledge with new data. The literature review is used as the foundation for a theoretical framework, which defines and analyzes the key theories, concepts, and models that frame your research. The third chapter is the methodology. The methodology chapter or section describes how you carried out your research, allowing your reader to evaluate its validity. In general, you should include the overall strategy and nature of the research, for example, is it qualitative or quantitative? Your data collection methods, for example, have you used interviews or questionnaires? Details about where, when, and with whom the research was conducted. Your data analysis methods, for example, how have you analyzed your data is through statistical analysis, discourse analysis or thematic analysis. Your tools and materials, for example computer programs, lab equipment. A discussion of any challenges you encountered while conducting the research and how you overcame them. An assessment or justification of your methods. In the methodology, your goal is to accurately report what you did while also convincing the reader that this was the most suitable approach to answer your research questions or objectives. The fourth chapter is the results. The results chapter of your dissertation represents the key findings of a study based on the methods used to collect and analyze data. It presents these findings in a logical sequence without author bias or interpretation, preparing the reader for later interpretation and evaluation in the discussion section. The results section's main goal is to break down the data into sentences that demonstrate its relevance to the research questions. The results should only include data presented in the form of tables, charts, graphs, and other figures. A contextual analysis of the data in sentence form explaining its meaning. The data should be related to the research questions. All of the secondary findings, such as secondary outcomes, subgroup analyses, etc. In this chapter you should only include the results of your study. The final chapter is the discussion and conclusion. The discussion chapter of your thesis or dissertation is where you interpret and explain your findings. In contrast, in the results chapter, you simply present and describe the findings of the analysis, whether qualitative or quantitative. You elaborate on and evaluate your research findings in the discussion chapter, as well as discuss the significance and implications of your findings. In this chapter, you will situate your research findings in relation to your research questions or hypotheses, as well as connect them to previous studies and literature. You'll also consider how relevant and/or significant your findings are to your field of study, and you'll argue for the conclusions you reach based on your analysis. The discussion chapter is where you can interact with and explain your research findings in depth and coherently. The discussion chapter should include your research problem and research questions, Summary of your key findings. Interpretation of your results. Limitations of your study. Recommendations for implementation and future research. A concluding summary. And last but not least, in the conclusion you should answer the main research questions, leaving the reader with a clear understanding of your main argument. Finish your dissertation by reflecting on what you did and how you did it. The conclusion frequently includes recommendations for further research or practice. It is critical to demonstrate how your findings contribute to field knowledge and why your research is important in this section. We hope you enjoyed our video. For more information about our packages and prices, check out our website and social media accounts. Contact us on email or WhatsApp.